last time you were at the this bunker that goes by the name the Tyrant Beggar, which is ruled by a woman named Malta, who has been amputated above her kneecaps. So she's in a wheelchair. She had offered you a very generous offer to join the colony of survivors, but part of the price one pays is the participation in a ritual where you have to physically give of yourselves something to kind of prove you're on board with the kind of sacrifices that are needed for people in this colony. You had also met this duo, Verger and Calm, with Calm being a kind of android, but that's being carried around by a Verger. Calm had kind of set up the meeting with Malta. You eventually declined, and Malta clearly, I think, was disappointed in your choice, but did not take kind of action to kind of physically keep you there. I think it's fair to say that her attitude to some extent was, eventually she's going to get your ship one way or another, because what are you going to do, right? I mean, that it's a junk heap out here with all sorts of abandoned ships, and your jump drives don't work, and that it seems like she can afford to play perhaps a waiting game until you come back to your senses and join her with her other members of the colony. But you did then go off to the source of the harpoon gun, which is connected to a kind of scrapyard operation, with the idea that this harpoon gun, that they await derelict ships to kind of pass by, and then they will try to get them with the harpoon gun and bring them down to the surface of the moon, and then kind of go and scavenge them and see what useful things they can find. Now, the scrap operation is being conducted a short distance away from the Tyrant Beggar moon colony, and the scrap operation is being directed by somebody named Brekt. You, I think you were debating what kind of action you were going to take against him. Eventually, you had a conversation with him. You did threaten him, right? You did threaten him.
Yeah. We threatened him. Leon was ready to probably kill him, or at least maybe kill his friend to get him to do what we wanted. But I think we were finally convinced that he wasn't one of these. He hadn't quite given up hope, and then he saw that. I don't know. It seemed like he saw that we were maybe more that we could be useful to him. So then he kind of convinced us to not hurt him at the moment.
Yeah. And you have Brekt, and he had a companion. And there are other people in this little scrapyard operation. I should point out that Brekt and his companion do not seem to have any missing body parts. Okay,
right.
That they seem to
Right,
be
I remember. Yeah.
fully, as far as you can tell, seem to be fully intact. And you, at the end of the session, Brekt had taken Vince off to show him a little project that he has been working on clearly for some time, which is kind of cobbling together a ship that he calls the Lucifer Rising. It's a kind of Franken ship of sorts that clearly is made of various and sundry parts from different ships that he has come across. And even though it looks like a Franken ship, you know, Vince would be able to tell that at least at first glance, it looks like Brekt kind of knows what he's doing. That, you know, he's doing the best he can with parts that originally didn't fit and have to be kind of retrofitted and machined and right put together. But Brekt has kind of let you know that the ship is nearing completion. The ship really has one purpose, which is to take a very, very long voyage in a single direction. It has cryo chambers for a limited number of people. And, you know, the cryo chambers are kind of set up for a super long trip because his idea is that, you know, jump drives don't seem to work and in fact are very dangerous to operate in this area. And so he is going to have some powerful thrusters and kind of send this ship in one direction where he thinks eventually, you know, it will get to inhabited space. But you know, he's imagining that this is a ship, a trip that may take as long as a century to complete. And you know, and he's kind of revealed this plan and is he is interested in the Alexis that you have brought over because he, you know, he still has a little bit of work left to do, but he's hopeful that with some parts from the Alexis, he can kind of get this thing completed and ready to take off. And right, he would invite you on board. He hasn't widely, he's actually kept this project a secret from the most of the people that are working at the scrapyard who are, you know, working under him. But you know, he's gonna take himself. He will take you if you're willing to kind of help out and you know, give some parts from the Alexis to the cause, and he'll be able to take a couple other people from the scrapyard on this, what he calls this coffin run that he's planning to do with the Lucifer Rising. And I think that's about, is that
Yeah.
seem like about where we had left things.
Yeah.
And Vince, and what is your reaction to Brekt as he's kind of disclosed this and his idea that, you know, you can go. I think he maybe had at the end of the session looked a little bit at the Alexis to start assessing things, but yeah, he thinks that, you know, with you know, some pieces from the Alexis, his ship very well might be in shape to make this attempt.
Well, Vince wants to know what kind of what you need for my ship.
Well, I mean, one of the necessities is the life support to sustain those cryo chambers for an extended period of time. So that would be one thing of interest to him. Also, whether, you know, he'd be interested in looking at the thrusters on the Alexis to see whether there are some parts of the thrusters that would be, give the ship even better propulsion. I mean, the more propulsion we can get out of the ship, the shorter it'll make our journey ultimately in terms of time.
All right, we can take a look. Why don't we could just put your cryotubes on the Alexis. But either way, let's go take a look. So yeah, Vince is fine.
I have a little question, because I know that this is kind of a secret that I think I remember Brekt was kind of keeping from the other people here who might be upset about this. So I think my guy's name is George, I think. Yeah, it's George. George, I think, is interested in making sure that like none of these guys are gonna see what we're doing or anything like that. And so at some point, Vincent, when Vince and Brekt are kind of talking or whatever, and I don't know where like they are right now. I think we were in the pool room with the ship in it.
Mm-hmm.
I think, but I don't know. But he's gonna say like, how can we make sure that none of these, none of your friends find out that we're about to leave here without them?
Yeah, so I think Brekt, right? He'll say, "All right, I think I have a kind of cover that will work. I think I need to first of all present you as people who have unfortunately landed on the moon. You've had some contact with the tyrant beggar. We'll say the truth that you're not interested in what they have to offer, and you're gonna kind of work over here at the scrap yard. I have also started to, quite frankly, he calls them his breakers. Those are the people that work under him. And he says, quite frankly, my breakers are growing weary of Malta and, the way she's kind of operating. And they're really getting eager to see if we could do something about her. And so I think I could also present you as people that I'm kind of talking with about possibly doing something to depose Queen Malta on her throne.
Okay, this is interesting. Okay, yeah, I'm sure this was George kind of grabbing Brekt as Vince and him were leaving. So George is content with that, and yeah, it's gonna find something to keep him busy, I guess. But maybe just walk behind them, kind of escort them around because he's still nervous about these other people.
And Vince, if you are into assessing the situation of the Alexis and the Lucifer Rising and want to get a sense of like what seems feasible in terms of putting all this together, I was thinking that you kind of working with Brekt, I would get you to what is your skill that you have in terms of cobbling the ships together?
I have mechanical repair and jury rigging.
Okay. Do they both give the same bonus?
Jury rigging is expert. That's
Okay.
plus what, 20?
All right. So yeah, I'll let you roll that with advantage to kind of this will count both for your assessment of what it would be required, as well as to actually executing it if you plan to kind of execute the building operation here.
And that'll be intellect, I guess.
Yeah.
So intellect of 40, and jury reading is plus 20, so 60 or less. I got an 01 on the first roll. And a 56 on the second, so both make it.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So you look over them. Your sense is that, I mean, the Lucifer Rising, it would, given at least the kind of coffin run idea, the Lucifer Rising would be the better one to use as the chassis for that, because he's been, spending so much time kind of putting it together. You feel like in about a week, you could have that put together. Now the problem with this, of course, is this is all being done purely with thrusters. So it is you would be in for quite a lengthy journey. If you had ideas where you wanted to try to outfit it with a jump drive, that would be a additional matter that you would have to attend to.
Right. I thought we had spoken, or maybe we didn't do it in character. So Vince bring up, there's another ship out there. They could probably jump if we rendezvous with them, outside in the Orc Cloud, outside, all the way out there.
What's the ship that you're talking about? Did you come out with some others, or did you just run into somebody up there?
Yeah, there were a bunch of us. Bunch of ships. They didn't all come together, though.
Well,
I mean, we didn't all arrive at the same time.
Yeah, that's interesting. The thing is, like, the Lucifer, I mean, we wouldn't really be able to take any more crew members on board.
No, they got because we have, the other ships have oh well, yeah, it's got a jump drive though, so we would rendezvous with that at the outside of the system and see if it'll jump.
Oh, you have ships outside the system?
Not yet. The other ship would have to fly like we're going to fly, but we could just radio them and tell them that.
All right. So Brekt says that's a little intriguing to me, but best we can tell, whatever is causing these jump drives to behave erratically, we're not sure exactly how far that force extends.
Right.
I mean, we've certainly seen and heard of terrible instances of ships trying to activate their jump drives, and there's no telling what's going to happen when you do that. And I don't know.
Vince gets a kind of a funny look on his face, but he doesn't say anything.
He says, "You're really gambling. Obviously, probably the farther away from the system you get before you activate the jump drives, the better. But I think before I did that, I would want to be far, far away from here."
Oh yeah.
Really good point. Yeah.
We're talking about we're going to fly for a couple of years and then see if the jump drive works. But I could try it next Tuesday.
All right, so Brekt says, okay, I'll tell you what. Now the Lucifer isn't a super maneuverable ship, but and it would, I'm very concerned about resources. So I'm not really wanting to kind of get up there and have to spend time poking around and expend the resources. But I'll tell you what, we'll get this together. We'll take off and see if we can find something up there, your friends or whatever, to possibly get some jump drives outfitted on this, and see what we can do. If we get up there though and we're not seeing anything, I think we just start the coffin run.
Sure, yeah. Trust. Vince knows what he's talking about when it comes to flying a crate like that. You build it, Vince can fly.
All right. So
Yes.
with that, I mean, are you all content to try to get things going on getting the ship together?
Yeah.
Okay. So if that's the case, I will need you. Each of you will need to make a sanity save.
Okay.
Okay.
Vince doesn't like that.
13 succeeded.
Okay.
See, I got a 49. I'm not very sane though, so I failed. So what is it again? I roll d4 and I get that much stress?
You are going to, for this one, you just gain 1 point of stress.
1 point of stress, okay. Yes.
I have a 38 and I rolled a 38, so right on the money.
Okay.
Is that good?
I think that's good. All right. So George, you failed. You gain
Yes.
a point of stress. Also, roll a D100 for me.
Okay.
Now, do you have?
It
Let me
it
actually
might
ask
affect-
this though. Do you, as an android, do you sleep?
I think I just love androids. I think George, he probably just stands up. But when other people go to bed, he makes like he's gonna go to bed, and then kind of just does whatever else. So he doesn't sleep. He probably has to shut down for a brief period every day. Or something.
I think
Like he
yeah.
run a computer.
So go on and do this because it doesn't really tell me about androids. It doesn't distinguish androids as being exempt from this. So go on and roll me a D100.
I rolled a 36, but before that, it's fear saves. Never mind. Okay, yeah. So I rolled a 36.
Okay. So while you're doing a little bit of your kind of shutdown resets, when you come back to yourself, you have this kind of odd memory in your memory banks of seeing a colony of very skeletal looking cats. They are regularly eating, sometimes eating each other. They seem to be breeding with each other as well. And you also, when you come to, you have this really strong sense of a ammonia odor that you smell. I mean, you almost think when you come back to yourself, you almost think it's on the ship, right? Or it's in the scrapyard, right? That there's this strong kind of ammonia odor but it immediately starts to dissipate.
Okay. So where is George when he wakes? Like, I assume this is sometime in the week that we're kind of hearing
Yes.
stuff.
Yeah, this is like a
So
couple days in that you have
yeah.
this.
Okay. So I mean, George definitely is sleeping on the ship. He's not. He
Okay.
doesn't want to be out in the scrapyard. I mean, that sucks.
Yeah, they also have like the breakers have their barracks that they sleep
Okay.
in.
Yeah, they can have those because George likes the shit. He This is interesting. Ammonia is. Am I missing something that ammonia is commonly like?
Well, it would be associated with urine, right? It has that
Right.
kind of
Okay. Right. And
ammonia
that like all the
urine.
cats.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Um. All right. George knows it's just a dream. Oh no, it's not just a dream. It's in his memory banks,
Mhm.
which is really fucking weird, actually. Um. That's interesting. Okay. Let me just look here.
Does George ever dream?
No, probably not. I mean, what would be the use?
Yeah.
I don't think. I mean, I don't really know. Like, I figure he probably doesn't. Maybe he thinks very abstract thoughts when he's like tired or something. But. So yeah, I think he's gonna like walk around the ship in kind of the way you do if you're like up really late and you can't go to sleep. He's just gonna like pace around the ship, not like going nuts with his gun, like this or anything crazy, but he's certainly up and about and smelling around for the ammonia smell and stuff like just like it's fucking weird.
Mhm.
Um,
And as he does
yeah.
that, as I say, the ammonia smell, instantly starts to lessen, right? And I would say
Yeah,
after
yeah.
about 30 minutes, it's not there anymore.
Okay, that's good. That's good. So he's gonna go and like do some alone, you know, reading or something like that. Like there's a lot of spare time right now, so he's eventually he stops wandering and he's like, okay. And he just goes back to like whatever his private quarters are
Mhm.
to read.
On a typical day, it's going to take about a week to put this ship fully together. On a typical day, like in the middle of the day, what would each of you be doing?
I think Leon, who has always, I think Leon will make himself useful in the way he did on the other ship. Like if needed, he'll help out with like kind of, manual labor. And also, I think I'm pretty concerned about the security of this thing because Brekt has said he doesn't really trust his guys. So I'm going to be also like on the, kind of keeping an eye out and kind of making sure that like Brekt and Vince can do what they need to do without, people getting in the way. I'd probably be on the lookout for like his guys getting suspicious or getting too nosy or something too.
And mainly concerned that they would kind of get suspicious about the Lucifer Rising.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because Brekt,
I think
especially if Brekt was like, oh, we need to keep it from them. Like, I think that will trigger Leon to be more like, yeah, we definitely have to keep it from them. And I'm also still suspicious of Malta's people too. Like, what I want to make sure none of them are coming this way.
Okay.
So I'll probably be more doing security. I think that's actually what I'll be doing more. Like, unless I'm really needed, I'm going to be like, kind of pacing, or kind of like walking around, checking on things, making sure there's nothing, no one sneaking up on us.
Yeah, George unfortunately is also kind of a cop, so he is also doing the whole kind of horrible, walking around with a gun thing. I
Okay.
suppose. But when he's not doing that, well, actually, yeah, what does he fucking do besides that? There's that 20 minutes a day he needs to, make sure his, whatever his memory can like verify itself, look at all the files and verify that there's no corruption for 10 minutes and, reinstall, check all these things or whatever. And then he's back walking. It's probably mostly that. So.
Okay, and Vince, how about you?
Well, Vince is, he tries to be a good teamster. Getting the work done, making sure there are enough smoke breaks, trying to lure Brekt into the Union if possible, because that's just mandatory. What was Brekt before? What was he? How did he get here? Actually, that's something Vince will do. He'll talk Brekt up a little bit over a coffee break and that kind of thing while they work. But he'll also try to minimize the damage to the Alexis, just in case the Lightbringer just comes completely apart.
Yeah. So what you can find out about Brekt, Vince, you would after a day or two figure out that Brekt does have something of a painkiller addiction. That periodically he kind of separates himself out and does something. He kind of comes back. You can really pick up that when he comes back that he's seems to have dosed himself up with something. He actually talks about in the past working with Marines, not so much as a fighter, but as somebody to help take care of kind of mechanics and keeping ships together for Marines. And I mean, you also can kind of pick up when you see him interacting with his breakers that he has a really good rapport with them. That they all seem to like him, and he is has I guess given the circumstances has treated them has treated them well and kind of at least given them an opportunity to do something where they're not kind of giving up body parts and things like that.
Yeah, he's actually reasonable. I mean, Malta's like one step from just being like, yeah, we can live with this person. She's got goats. Yeah.
And you do get a sense, like he does some things that are kind of helpful to Malta. Like he helps kind of bring in some things that help with sustaining that colony, but that there's a lot of friction between him and Malta as well. That Malta seems to tolerate him because he's doing something kind of useful for her, but that she doesn't consider him to be really fully part of the colony and kind of resents his independence. I'm gonna have let's see. I need to have Leon during his patrols run a check. This is gonna be I have to figure out what you would be rolling with. I mean, it has to do with whether you're able to spot an infiltrator. So what do you have in terms of your abilities?
Would something like that be like military training?
I think yes. Yeah,
Yeah, I
that
think
that
both
would have
do.
something to do with it. So that would definitely. Do you have anything working further off of your military training at this point?
Leon?
Yeah, yeah. This
Yeah.
would be for.
I just have firearms. I don't have like tactics or. Oh, I guess explosives is off military training as
Yeah.
well.
Um,
But it doesn't. I'm not seeing anything else that's
yeah.
like.
So I guess we should work with the military training,
Yeah,
and since you were like specifically on the lookout for this, you'll be rolling with advantage on
okay.
this.
So, like intellect plus military training with advantage.
Yes.
Okay.
So you roll
So that gives
twice.
me my intellect's 24 plus 10 for the training, so 34, and I'll roll twice. So an 82, which is no good, and then a 34 exactly.
Ooh.
Wow, that's
Too
wild.
bad it wasn't a 33. That would have been right because that gives you
The
critical success, but still good.
Got my lucky James Bond dice tonight. So
Nice.
So you said one of the things you were concerned about was like Malta and
for
those
sure,
people.
she's the. I mean, like I figured to a certain extent, Brekt knows his people, but I'm still those creepy. Like in Leon's head, like those. He's not far enough away from those creepy guys.
Yeah, so when you're kind of looking, I'd imagine occasionally you kind of get to a position from the scrapyard where you can kind of look out in that direction where the tyrant beggar colony is. You see a solitary figure, kind of clearly in some type of a vac suit, that is scuttling around there, moving towards the scrapyard, and I mean, whenever there's like a rock or something that right, it can scuttle behind you. I mean, it clearly is trying to be unnoticed, but
Yeah.
you notice it.
I'll let over the short range comms. I'll let George know that like I see made contact with someone who's coming from the general and sorry Robbie, this is the general direction of where Malta
Yes.
people would be. I'll say George made contact with someone coming from the general direction of Malta's camp. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. What do I want to say? I'm gonna intercept them.
Okay. Yeah, George. George is right away.
Yeah.
Running to come help you.
And then I'll keep an eye on. So I'm gonna keep an eye on where they are, and I'm gonna see if I can like. I don't know if I'm gonna see if I can kind of like find a way kind of to flank them or kind of get behind them or something. Especially if I know George is coming kind of to kind of be more on our perimeter. I'm gonna try to move and like out scuttle them. I guess it'd be
Yeah, I don't like that they were scuttling.
try to play this
walking.
try to play a little cat and mouse with them. Like you take advantage of the fact that I saw them and they didn't see me, and try to get in a position where I can get the drop on them.
Now, Robbie, should I roll something like military training to coordinate? Because obviously George can't see what's going on, so he's having to like radio back and forth with Leon. Should I make some kind of roll for like getting in correct position or something like that?
Do you have military training? Is that a?
I do actually.
Okay.
Yes. I'm a security bot guy, so I have it. I also have close quarters combat.
Okay. And so Leon, you're going to try to flank this figure, and George, you're just trying to put yourself in a position to be ready to engage the figure if.
Yeah, like so I'm not just like busting into some weird situation. I'm like coordinated with Leon, and maybe we're surrounding this person.
Yeah. So go
With
on and
him.
give me a military training roll.
Okay, I succeeded. I got a 50.
Okay.
Well, I like
Yeah.
this website.
So
It's
I
easy.
think this figure, even though he's scuttling, he has not noticed you. You
Okay.
can pretty much kind of figure out like exactly the direction he's going. So I think setting up some type of ambush is, you feel like it's going to go pretty well. That you would be able to kind of figure out a good place to kind of position yourself where he would be passing by, and you could decide then what you want to do with that. I mean, you definitely would put yourself at an advantage on this figure.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think Leon is in the mood to, probably a little paranoid about anyone coming from there. So I don't want anyone getting much closer without. I don't want anyone getting. I don't want to. I don't want this guy getting closer. So I'm gonna. I'll throw down on him and kind of tell him to stop. It's like, okay, but it's like they can't hear us over the or how do we communicate?
Right.
Sorry, but this can I like set like an open comm to like ping
Yeah.
him?
Yeah, because I mean, I think yeah.
Kind of come up or like kind of or what I'll do is that maybe I'll kind of step out with my submachine gun, kind of pointing his direction and kind of like with my hand up for him to stop, or it to stop whoever the figure is.
Yeah, and George is kind of walking. Robbie, are we in some like? Are we in the junkyard at this point, or what?
No, I think
Yeah.
this is outside. I'm understanding this to be outside. Did you go?
Oh, I
But
honestly,
there's
I'm-
like
wherever
so
you think you'd be.
we're outside, but there's still like rocks and stuff, so it's
Right.
still like there's still like areas for us to like pop out of and like.
Right.
Right. Okay. Yeah. That's kind of what I was picturing. I just want to make
Yeah.
sure. So George, right after Leland shows himself, George is also showing him, being like, "Oh, I'm here too," and he's like on top of a rock. Maybe that's kind of like the good positioning he's got, and he's really got this nice view of like there's nowhere to hide from him.
Yeah, I think with
That makes
that, I
sense
mean,
as a business.
yeah, the
Yeah.
figure will immediately stop when he sees, Leon first, looking around, takes notice of George up there. Clearly was thinking of running, but has decided right not to, and he'll like, fiddle with a comm to kind of open it up and we'll say, whoa, cool, it's cool.
Let's say, uh, were you looking for something?
I think I'm looking for you. Are you? You're the new ones. The new ones Malta mentioned.
Yeah.
You came from space.
Mm-hmm.
You have a
That's
ship.
right.
Well,
Right.
we had a ship before your friends over here harpooned it.
Well, my friends, you're talking about Brekt. I don't. He's okay. I don't know. You call him my friend. I know who he is. But you have a ship.
George is like, our ship is basically completely fucked for anything other than just flying. Like, it's basically like a rover at this point.
But it could get us to the planet.
Oh, this guy's crazy. Yeah.
Why would you want to get to the planet?
Well,
Aren't you guys happy here, safe, and Isn't that what Malta's promised you? Keeping you alive, keeping you safe?
Well, she has been, but and you know, you would be able to like get a little like in the vac suit, see a little bit what this guy looks like. He looks young. He's like a teenager, okay?
Okay.
And he says, "Well, yeah, I mean, Malta's done her thing as long as I've been around, but I mean, look at this place." And he, gestures around at the moon and says, "This isn't a place to live out the rest of your life." And well, I can give you something to listen to coming up from that planet. I've been receiving just recently. There's stuff coming up from that planet.
I don't know.
And he'll say, "Listen to this," and he starts to play a recording. Okay.
Okay.
And I'm gonna in the
Alien Lawson.
chat. He actually has 3 recordings. Okay. And this is give you a little transcript. So he has, and he'll tell you that he got one of these transmissions about 10 days ago coming up from the planet. And then he got one about 5 days ago, and then just one that he received yesterday. Right, and the first 2, what's it says on the. Well, I would tell you that this Lance Corporal Victoria Bradley, you would recognize that as somebody who was on the ship called the Defiance, which was the Marine ship.
Marine ship, yeah.
Okay, so that's a Marine from the Marine ship, and then the Taconite. Well, you have Leon Rush communicating from the Taconite.
That's rough. Does it sound like my voice?
Yeah, it does.
Jesus.
That's the third one.
I think when Leon hears that, he like looks at George, but then is like, "Oh, this isn't." He like can't keep his cool. I think in front of this kid when he hear like for the first 2 he's fine. Like it's like okay, I don't know, but then when he hears his own voice, he's like,
Yeah, and I feel like this needs to be maybe
like
a sanity check.
yeah, I believe so. I'm like holding them right here. I'm like, that's not good.
Yeah. Should I make one too, or?
I don't know. Like, I think yeah, I think you probably should make one as well.
Yeah.
Oh, 33. So I did make it. I got that double, that critical success.
Yeah. So let me see what if that means anything when you're making a check.
Oh, I failed, by the way.
Okay, so I think you should roll a 1d4 for sanity.
We're just going insane.
Where's the checks?
Oh yeah.
7.
Yeah.
I think it's 7 is.
Okay, so I have 7 stress.
It says, if you critically fail, you have to make a panic check. I feel like you should get something for a critical success on
So
it.
a critical success may on a sanity save may grant some further insight into the strange, horrific artifact you've encountered, or in the case of an armor save, give you a chance to counterattack. But it's up to you. It says up to the warden.
Interesting.
So I think it sounds like if it made sense for me to get some insight, then that would get some insight. But if it doesn't make sense, then that's also
it should be.
fine. So I do pull it together. Like I'm sort of losing it, but I'm looking at George, and now I'm seeing George as maybe not keeping it together. That's a little disturbing, but not, I guess, as disturbing as if you were a scientist failing a sanity save.
Yeah, so I think the extra insight that you get, at the very end of that recording with Leon's voice, in the background, you pick up faintly another voice saying that up on the mountain, like something about strange readings up that mountain. You know, that there's like just like a mountain, and there's like somebody's like pointing out like some new readings that are up there.
So I'm convinced that this kid has some interesting stuff. So I'll say, I think you should come with us.
Yeah, come with you, like down to the planet.
George's like, no way, not down to that planet.
Well, I'll say, George, we gotta bring, maybe this changes things. Let's talk with Vince. And I don't know if I can just go to just a direct comm to George and so kind of so the kid can't hear it, but
yeah, I think you would have secured channels you can quickly shift.
We've been doing that. So I'm just saying, George, Vince should hear this. We've got to, I don't know. Yeah, Vince should hear this. Let's bring him back.
Yeah,
I'm not saying we're going down to that planet, but I think we gotta think about it.
Yeah, George is implying, yeah, I agree. I do think Vince should hear about it. And yeah.
Yeah. And this young guy is his name is Dean. Dean.
So
George is doing the awful, checking him for any kind of communication devices and breaking all of them. Even the short range one that we originally communicated with him.
Okay. He's like, whoa! How am I going to... Of course, he can't communicate now, at least initially. You'll have to kind of take him somewhere.
That is interesting.
You see his mouth moving. And that's like...
Oh, I'm asking for another horrible computer's rule here, where George is going to rig that fucking short-range comm to only talk to him, to our channel, to our secret channel.
Okay.
If George can do, he's like, give me that. And he's, fucking with it. I don't know, I hate how loosely defined the skills are in this game because...
Yeah, you can do a computer roll for that to see what happens.
Right. Okay. Because you're right. Yeah, he would not be able to talk. Okay, I got a 66.
So a critical failure?
Yeah, 66. I never succeeded a computer.
Yeah, so I think that means it's like you kind of do this and you know that you've just completely wrecked it. Like there's no repair for this device.
All right. Okay. Yeah, George is pretty frustrated. He just grabs it and just crushes it in his hand. He's just like, but at least the guy can't communicate with
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
And George does, I hate to say it, but he also is searching him.
Yeah. You don't really on him. Uh, you find some cigarettes. He has oddly enough a can of beer that he's.
Oh, shit. George is taking all that. I mean,
Yeah.
he'll give that to Vince.
Yeah, and right to communicate with this guy, you'll have to take him, either the Alexis or someplace in the scrapyard where you're in a room, and right, he has a little bit of atmosphere to work with to
Yeah.
talk to you.
Yeah. All right. All right.
If we want, we could say or do we want to roll randomly to see if we're the Alexis or the Lucifer? Or we could just say we're on the Alexis.
I think for here you would be able to. It's not like since there's not super urgency with this. I think whichever place you would want to rendezvous, you can.
Yeah, and I want to keep Leon will keep Dean away from the Lucifer. He knows about the Alexis, so I want to keep him from being seen by Brekt's people, if at all possible, and to take him just to the Alexis, which he already knows about, and keep him in. He gets to see as little of the Alexis as possible, and just kind of, not letting him wander around or not letting him do anything.
Yeah,
but keeping him from being like I don't want to like freak him out too much. Cause I'm like, yeah, well, I'm interested because I want to say like I'm interested in the. I'll tell him like I'm interested in those recordings. Like, we have something to talk about.
Yeah, when you take him to the Alexis, the first thing he says when he like takes off his, head covering from the vac suit is, "It's a great ship. This'll do it. This'll get us to the planet."
Well, like I said, it's not in great working order since it got harpooned. So we'll have to talk with, we'll have to talk with the rest of our crew.
Yeah, he says it is getting urgent. He says, Malta. Well, Malta knows. I think she may suspect our plan.
Wait, why? How?
Well, I've been talking to my friends about these transmissions from the planet, and they're on board with trying to get there somehow. And I've kind of let them know that, right, people have arrived with a ship that might be able to get us there. This is a great ship you got here. Great ship.
This is bad. Yeah, I mean, is George here?
Yeah, he can be there.
Yeah, George is like, are your friends like following you, or when are your friends gonna come here? Because that's just, I don't think we're feeling too happy about a bunch of human cargo.
It's not that far though. It's this ship, your ship is kind of coming across space. It's just down to that planet.
I'll say we need to. I'll say you wait here. We need to talk with the rest of the crew. Do you think we don't? We get that that there's like a time constraint on us, and we don't want to be around here any longer than we don't want to. I don't want to say that because it sounds like we're leaving. We don't want to have Malta getting suspicious any more than you do.
Okay. Yeah, I there's clearly stuff for us on the planet. Has to be better than this.
I don't know. Some of the. I mean, those transmissions are interesting, but they're not giving us all the answers.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's a little mysterious, a little strange, but I mean, there's clearly something down there, though, right? I mean, there's place to land. It can't be worse than this.
Yeah, I think George. I mean, it sounded like Leon was leaving. Did I interpret that correctly? That Leon was like, "Oh, I'm gonna."
I want to go get Vince. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So yeah, George is just probably here with this guy alone, and he's like, just kind of completely ignoring him when he goes on about the planet, because he doesn't need to like be like, "No, you're wrong," or he's just like kind of letting him spew his. But George is like, he knows there's no way he's going to that fucking planet.
Yeah,
So.
and Dean is also very curious about the ship. It's very apparent that he doesn't really know much about ships. So he's asking all sorts of kind of questions about what are these things? What does this do? What does that do? But he's clearly not really been acquainted with how ships are put together, how they operate. But he's convinced this ship would be more than enough to get down to the planet. Yeah, and we can fast forward to have if you are you going to bring Leon back to the Alexis?
Yeah, well, I want to talk. I mean, so I'll grab Vince and I'll fill Vince in, and say, because I want to ask like I admit, like hearing my own voice on that transmission kind of almost really freaked me out.
Well, it's probably just your double. Remember from the hyperdrive going off, you had a Leon 2, but there's a Vince number 2.
Yeah,
Vince Prime.
If they're doing well down there, then maybe this kid has a point. Maybe there's more down there than on this moon.
All right. How did they get down there already? I thought they were up in space. I don't like it. Leon. You've been spending too much time with that robot. I don't like it.
What's your thoughts about getting the ship down there and then back out? We can still. That doesn't stop us from taking a ride out of here on the Lucifer Rising if we can get that going.
I think we still got enough ship to do that as long as nobody's shooting at us.
Yeah.
So yeah, Vince will come up and he'll like kind of look at the guy like he's a little bit strange. It's like, all right, let me hear it.
Yeah, so he can easily replay the transmission for you, or actually the 3 transmissions.
So what was the first one again? I don't think I heard that one.
Yeah, I shared it in the.
Oh yeah, you did. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So you have one from 10 days ago, one from 5 days ago. Those first 2 are from the Marine ship, the Defiance, and then you have that third one that was received yesterday. Yeah, Dean, with the second transmission from the Defiance, he's very confused by that one. You know, he'll like say as it's playing, I don't understand what that means, right? There's like these, that one seemed much more garbled, and just some of it just, the stuff he where he can understand what's being said just doesn't make a lot of sense to him.
All right. Wait, how long have we been on this planet? How long have we been on the moon? So
Just a few days.
okay. So the Defiance was here. So the Defiance was here earlier than we did. They landed before we did.
Yeah.
Before you got there, yeah.
Yeah, long time before we got there. About 10 days, I guess. And she sure went crazy pretty quick in 10 days. But he will say, when he's like, listen to the second or the third transmission, he's like, yeah, that's right. Vince number 2, he's a good pilot. I know him. Just like Daddy.
Yeah, I think Dean also picks up on the fact that that third transmission sounds a lot like Leon, and says sounds a lot like you. That's strange.
Yeah, I'm starting to expect that type of strangeness around here. There's been some, I don't know. I don't have time to go into it with you, kid, but we think we might know who those people are down there.
You know them,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and they're friends of yours.
In a manner, in a certain way, yes. Yeah. They were part of the same expedition that we were part of.
Maybe they come up and take some more of my friends.
Do you have a way
George
of
like looks at Leon and is like, "Why are we even entertaining anything?" This person. I mean, I feel
yeah.
here. I feel bad for this kid, but George does not. And he looks to Leon. And he's like, "Why are we even talking to him?" I mean,
I see it as so I'll say I see we've got I don't want to give too much away in front of the kids. So like, I see that we have two options. One is the coffin run, and then but we might be leaving I don't know. It just seems that it seems that we'd be just leaving the mission behind.
Yeah.
I don't like the idea of our friends, and I'll say that like to kind of euphemistically for Dean's sake, but I don't like the idea of our friends being kind of left there. And I also still think that maybe there is a better way out.
Robbie, how much at this point does Brekt have enough from the Alexis to do what he needs? And how much Alexis is left? Like, can it fly down to the planet?
Well, I mean, the main. I think I'm imagining this is a few days into the work on the Lucifer Rising. I since he was specifically saying parts of the thrusters and the life support systems, I think it would not in this current state be equipped to do that. You would have to go back to the Lucifer Rising and take the pieces back and right for the thrusters and your full life support to work.
Do we have a ship-to-ship way of communicating with the taconite, right?
Right, that's what I was thinking about doing, going up to the bridge and trying to find Vince too.
Yeah, because I think George is saying, we've thrown in with Brekt, and if the taconite, if they just go crazy, there's nothing we can do. The same thing will happen to us. If they're still fine and they can communicate, then I think what he says is they should come here because at least here people are going insane slow rather than, a matter of.
Well, I think here's two. If they can come here, they should. But I'm afraid that if they could come here, they would have.
Right. Yeah.
So that means that it could be a one-way trip down to the planet.
So, yeah. So Leon's okay with that plan. He'll say, okay, let's try to call him.
I'm wondering if this is a role. I'm trying to see what would be up there to establish the connection.
Computers?
Yeah, I think that's probably the closest we'll get is with computer role.
Okay.
There's not like I don't think there's a straight. They have linguistics, but like in terms of communication technology, I think the computers is probably the closest we got.
All right. Do I actually have the best chance? I have a 49, I think. No, 47. So I guess I can plus 10. So I can make this roll.
Yeah, I don't have computers, so.
All right. That's when I succeeded this. No, I gotta.
I do have computers, but I'm not very good.
Yeah, I got a 75.
But you have computers as well, you said.
Yes, Leon does too.
All right, so I will allow the assist rule, and so you can roll with advantage, right? So you can take a second roll with some help with your. No.
It's a 71. I think I just have to change what I'm gonna just run a little pipe. Just do this.
So you failed. You failed both of them, right?
I failed it.
Okay. So you try to establish communication. I'm going to say with the failure that you get what seem to be some transmissions coming up from the planet, but it's very garbled. You're not able to make any sense of it. It may be that you hear some yelling going on in the transmission, but who knows, right? I mean, it's pretty, not very informative as to what you're you're picking up.
Okay, yeah, I almost feel like George is sabotaging this. Like it actually feels at this point like, he's like, okay, I could spend my time and really, make these transmissions work, but he really doesn't want to go down to that planet. So I don't know if that's happening or not, but it's definitely in my mind. But now we have these transmissions for all to hear, and George is back to his usual kind of, we don't know what's down there. We could look, but
Isn't there is there a shuttle on the Alexis?
No.
Okay. Was there a shuttle on the Taconite?
I don't think there was on the Taconite either. I mean, they were both ships that were kind of designed to be able to land on like moons and planets and do.
Right, yeah.
They had the excavation equipment, but in terms of like a kind of separate little ship to go out of it, I think that they're both kind of small as ships go.
I think as Leon is thinking about this and the failure to communicate, and then if kind of seeing that like, oh, the Alexis actually isn't able to jump down. I think he kind of says, okay, George, I get it. Let's
kind of horrifying.
Let's not. We'll go with Brekt's plan, but we need to keep we need to do something with this kid so that we don't get Malta's people poking around up here. I think we should. Vince, what's the how long before Brekt is ready?
It'll be a few more days to put the Lucifer Rising in shape.
Probably about 3 more days.
So let's tell this kid to come back in 4 days, and the ship will be ready.
Oh my goodness!
And we'll say we'll tell him he needs to. If Malta kind of finds out about it, we're gonna leave without you.
Okay. Shh. We'll keep it quiet.
George is like looking at Leon. It's like, why even let him?
I don't want. Well, I'll say to George over the comm. I don't want Malta's people out looking for him either.
Okay. Yeah, that actually makes sense. Yeah.
We're his friends.
Okay, so you're gonna let him go back?
Yeah. With his gear smashed up, though.
Yeah, his communication stuff is not operating.
That's pretty suspect. Yeah. But I think it makes sense. If we just kill him, that's pretty hard.
He's got as much to lose if Malta finds out as we do, if not more.
Right. Yeah.
So he has some incentive.
And it's kind of nice that our characters aren't going to kill this like teenage boy.
I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm more in. I'd certainly like have less. Leon has less. Is less is definitely not conflicted about not killing him, as opposed to like Brekt, who still is sort of wishes.
Yeah, well, and Dean will let you know that he's not planning to. He knows that Malta would not be in agreement with a group going off to the planet, and so he's not in. He'll do what he needs to do to keep her in the dark about things. So so you'll let him go. And Vince, you'll continue working on the Lucifer Rising. Okay, let me get you to make another. We'll just kind of fast forward it another couple days. Make another sanity check.
Nope.
You failed?
I failed.
I succeeded.
And Leon, how did you do on the sanity?
Success again.
Okay.
Doing well, 28.
So, Vince, you take a point of stress and roll a D100 for me.
$94. I'm sure it's fine.
You know, in the 2 nights you have a horrible nightmare. You kind of wake up feeling really like your muscles are all just really flexed, and you remember this horrid dream where you are restrained and shocks were delivered through you, and you hear these voices that keep asking you to prove that you aren't a machine, and no matter what you say, they don't believe you, and they just keep on shocking you.
So that's for 2 nights?
This would be the second night from like letting
Okay.
Dean go back that you have that dream, and when you get up, you do not feel rested at all. Your muscles seem very fatigued.
So Vince will start drinking like cup after cup, right? He's really hitting the coffee hard this morning. And he's grouchy. Like, come on, get this, get out of here before that kid gets back. Y'all want to get into space, let's get into space. I had a group of Teamsters, union guys, we got done 15 days ago.
And that day, I'm assuming you all will be back to like your normal activities.
Yeah, I think I'm probably more uptight about people from Malta's base coming, but otherwise, yeah.
Okay. And at this point, the Lucifer Rising is getting pretty close to completion. Let me get Leon to roll his military training again with advantage.
Okay, let's see.
Robbie,
89. Nope, fail. And a 41. 2 fails.
Okay. Yeah, Sean, did you have a question?
yeah, sometime during that 2 days, and we can do it now, it's fine. When Vince is alone on the Lucifer Rising, I assume it has a working comm system.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to try to contact the Taconite with no one else around.
All right, let me. Now, you don't have a computer roll or anything like that.
Mhm.
Let me. I don't know what would be the most appropriate to roll then. I'll let you roll your intellect with disadvantage,
Okay.
and we'll see how that goes.
So I rolled an 01, but I also rolled a 70. So.
Oh,
So again, I think you maybe pick up what you think are like some type of transmission coming from there, but it's again really staticky and garbled. Although I guess the on the bright side suggests that maybe there is something trying to kind of communicate down there, but you're not you don't know if it's on your end or on their end, but yeah, it's quite garbled.
Well, so what Vince will do on whatever the standard channel is that they have, he will just send a message to the Taconite, and he'll say, "This is Vince Prime. Me and the boys we're taking off from the moon, and we're gonna coffin run it back to the nearest planet. I think that's the best way to get up. So if you can get off that planet, just turn your engine on and follow us." And that's what he'll say. And just then he'll turn off. And this is Alexis signing out.
Okay.
Can't leave my boys behind, but send them a message.
Okay, and Leon, did you roll your?
Yeah, I failed both military tactics rolls or military training rolls.
All right then. So, I need to get my map here. Everybody's going to need to make a fear save for me.
Okay, now the question is, are we around each other? Because I get disadvantaged.
Where are you usually hanging out during the day?
Well, usually I'm patrolling, just like Leon. So I don't know if I'm with him or.
All right, so yeah, so I don't think you're. So this would not affect Vince.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you the 50-50 chance of being close enough. So I'll let
All
you
right.
know if you're close to him at this
Yeah.
particular point in your patrol. Yeah, you are close to him. So yeah, this will
Okay.
affect.
So I will roll fear at a disadvantage.
Okay, I succeed because I have 85 fear.
35. Oh, I succeed. I got a 2 and a 35, and so my fear is
Nice.
38. So
Nice.
I got a 33.
So a critical success.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yes.
So a critical success.
Barely, but yes.
Which might give you some added insight.
Okay.
Is that correct? Is that what it says? Like, when would you get a critical success on a save? You might.
for fear, it doesn't give a specific thing, but it seems to suggest that it gives like the example of like with sanity and armor of like getting some bonus things. So I think it might be the same with fear, that you could add something a little more.
Vince has been drinking a lot of coffee today.
Okay. Well,
It's probably not
everybody.
very much.
Okay, here's what I will say is everybody, and this would also include the Breakers and Brekt, hear a scream. How it is that you hear a scream in this condition, it's like, well, it can't just be a normal kind of scream, but it kind of comes across to you like it's some type of a scream. And George and Leon are not able to pick up exactly the direction that the scream is coming from, but Vince, you do. I mean, you kind of feel like, okay, that scream seems to be coming from the general direction of the Tyrant Beggar moon colony. And it seems very unearthly. I mean, even though you say you know made your save, it's very unsettling what this is.
Oh, Vince, get on the comm. I think something weird's happening at the colony, at the beggars, the tyrants, the beggars. Something weird's going on. Don't ask me how I know. I just know.
Since George is near me, I'll say I'm going to go take a look, just to make sure whatever's over there isn't coming our way.
All right, be careful. If you need my laser cutter, I'll bring it.
George is running back to the ship.
Which ship? Is it the Alexis or the?
That's actually a good question. Yeah. Oh, would he just leave? It's just like. Yeah. No. George is. Yeah, he's running back to the Lucifer Rising. Just like. He's just like something's going on with. I don't know. So he's like, Leon, get on the radio if you need me, and he's like running off to go check on it. Because this sound hit him, and I mean he's not afraid. It didn't make him feel afraid. He's just like, the only like thing that people could really be after is like their way off. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I mean, George just goes to guard the stuff that's valuable.
Yeah.
And I'll take a look to see. I think that's we're fulfilling our respective understanding of our role, our duties.
Right.
Where's our engineer, our assistant engineer?
I would assume.
Oh, true.
I think he's just been in the background. He probably has just been kind of helping out with, building things, taking things apart and rebuilding, and
Can I make some? I mean, I actually think my favorite skill has turned out to be this military training skill because it actually makes sense. Like failing it or succeeding it seems to always make sense. Can I make some kind of role like that? Just to, like, I don't know. I mean, and he's running back to this thing he feels like he wants to defend, and is like looking around for potential enemies or something.
You're looking around for potential enemies back at the Lucifer Rising.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't see anything there.
Okay.
Leon, are you going up to look towards the moon colony direction?
Yeah, since Vince said it was coming from that direction, I'm going to make my way over there. I'm going to keep to cover. I am. That's keeping to cover, making my way over there, kind of on the lookout for anything.
All right, you are going to, when you get up there and get a pretty good view out across the moon terrain, you see 5 figures moving deliberately towards the scrapyard. They are not human. They are thin, leathery, tall creatures of some type. And they, you can see that, like, up and down their torso, they seem to have all of these kind of claws kind of coming out of their torso area. And up at where its face would be, it just looks like some type of large round mouth that is up there at the top.
And they're like exposed to the vacuum?
Yes.
Or they're not in suits or anything?
Oh, true.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm I'm gonna run a. I'm gonna.
And there are five of these figures that you
Yeah.
see
Oh
moving.
shit!
I'm gonna fall back, and I'm gonna comms to George and Vince and say, 5 5 creatures here, they're headed back towards the scrapyard. They don't look friendly.
Yeah, George is, running to help.
Is Brekt around?
I think, yeah, Brekt, you'd be able to pick up, you would hear Brekt through a general comm kind of talking to his breakers, and, everybody's heard the scream and is kind of wondering. So, some of the breakers have kind of broken down temporarily, that they've, kind of been rattled by it. And Brekt is spending most of his time kind of checking in on them, and they're all very confused as to what that sound was. But then Brekt is also starting to kind of say, well, we don't know what it is, but something may be coming our way. He's kind of ordering men to get weapons together and be on the alert.
I'll send a quick description of them to Vince and say, ask Brekt if he knows anything about these things.
All right, we'll do. Let's take a quick inventory of what's going on, and I'm going to have, this backup engineer boy, you, and Leon can hear Vince yelling at him. You, make sure, see what we got. If we got everything on board, start getting ready to get out of here, just in case. And then Vince will pick up his laser cutter and his helmet. He'll head out towards. He's like, Brekt, meet me out in the yard. Basically at the gate or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Bring some of your boys who can still think.
Yeah, so I think it makes sense that he has a contingent of 5 of his breakers out there who have arms, and they seem to be holding it together. And Brekt will say, "Okay, what do you know? Did you hear that? That screech?"
Oh yeah, I heard it. We all heard it, and it came from. And I'll point. Vince will point with his big finger at the Tyrant Beggar compound. It's like, it came from over there, and then he'll describe the creatures to Brekt. You ever seen them before?
Okay, when you describe them, there's not much time for talking, but he says, sounds like what my former girlfriend was painting over at the Tyrant Beggar. Kind of these crazy monster thin forms. She had a kind of wild imagination, and it was not just wild, it was sometimes frightening. Part of why I'm not with her anymore. She was kind of going off the deep end.
Yeah, if we get through this, let me tell you about that girl from Europa. Huh? Vince has a story to tell about that.
So Leon's goal will be to kind of fall back ahead of those guys' movements, and then if I see that, if I know that Brekt has his men out, I would like to then you know, get on the comms with them, have them set up a perimeter, and get us in position so that when those creatures come, we can. I don't know. They don't have any. I mean, they don't have any comms or anything, so I think we've just got to. I don't know. They don't look friendly, so maybe we should fight them.
Yeah, it all seemed good.